Hello, everybody.
Hey,
So we'll give people a couple minutes to join. Uh, some may have been standing by. Brendan, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Sounds like we got a good connection.
Great. So, folks, my name is Ed Levine. Wait, what's barking? Is that me or is that something you?
That's not on me. I think we're good.
Oh, thought I heard something barking. Oops,
Nope.
that's me. That's my feedback. That's what the barking was probably.
So
So, my name is Ed Levine. I'm an executive member at VCDL. And I'm also joined today by Brendan Mooney, who's also an executive member at VCDL. And
hey,
we've started using Facebook Live more and more for our gun shows and our, not our gun shows, but our Facebook meetings with Philip. And at one of these last meetings I was at, I was talking to Brendan, and I've worked gun shows before, and sometimes we signed up 30 people in one show. And Brendan's like, oh, one show. Let's see, I did 700 the other day, and I did 853 and a half because that was a renewal. And I'm like, Brendan, you're the man. Tell us. We want to know. And some of the questions, I'm sure you'll know these. People want, every alert that VCDL sends out is like, oh, we need help at this show. We need this Chantilly show. Contact this showmaster, whatever. So just wanted to kind of do a catch-all and say, if you're interested in working the gun show, what does it mean? Why do you do it? How do you get people? What do you say? How do you handle objections? All of that I want to cover in like a half hour's time.
I think we can do it.
Okay. So you want to kind of give your philosophy on the gun shows and why to do it and how to do it and everything?
Sure, absolutely. So gun shows are one of the key things that we do as VCDL. What it allows us to do is meet fellow gun owners and explain to them how important gun rights are in Virginia. A lot of people, even today, still think, we defeated some things. I don't need to be involved, this, that, and the other. No, gun shows are a great place to meet allies. It's a great place to inform, educate. I mean, every time I do a show, I take home something new. Now, I keep saying the word I. I'm going to take that back. It's we. I have a really amazing team. Ed has an amazing team, and that's really what gets me to a gun show. I couldn't do it on my own. It is really the we part of it. So I have a great team that I put together, and we just kind of go out there and start talking to people about why VCDL is different than any other gun rights organization here in Virginia, and the effects that we're having overall on the state. It's miraculous to think that we are a grassroots organization with what, 4 paid people, and we're able to pull off what we're doing. Just Ed, I'm not paid. I don't think you are. I mean, this is really a truly one of a kind organization where we're getting stuff done. It's a passion.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We are a volunteer organization, and some of the top leadership positions they've got to get paid for everything that they do. And then we have executive members, and then we have members, and the members have exploded over our lobby day. Now, I did invite our membership coordinator, Sandy, to join us, and she could not, but she said, and this is for people that are joining, this is for people that are working the gun show booths, a couple of membership information. She said, number one, handwriting sucks. So print or write very neatly. And she said it's awesome when people use those return address labels and actually stick those right on the application because they generally have the correct spellings of your name, address. Sometimes they have the zip +4 information. So the address labels are great. If you joined and haven't gotten a membership kit, which is your card, a brochure, a gun saved live sticker, and the card that gives you the gun laws, right now she's working on December 6th applications. So it is a little bit behind. We could bring in a team of 5 to 10 people to help, but we really keep the membership database secure. We don't let anybody see our membership database. The membership coordinator and the board of directors, the president and the secretary have access to that. EMs, myself, if someone says, are you a member? I can't look it up. I can go ask somebody to look up, and if I've got a bona fide reason, I can find out if you're a member. But we don't do that. If she has a problem processing an application, she'll send you an email and say, your email address, or not your email address, but something is wrong with your membership. Can you do this? And she won't hear back. So you got to check your spam folder if you're waiting to hear back from something. If you were a member years ago and you're joining again, you maintain your member number. Don't check that you're a new member. Check that you're an old member and provide your member number if you have it. If you don't have it, we can look you up, but just don't say new. So those are the emails, or those are the recommendations from Sandy, our membership coordinator, who's just buried in applications, and that's a good thing. The other thing I wanted to tell you real quick, and this is like a little bit of getting ahead of myself, but many years ago, we used to have, so if you join VCDL, what do you get to be besides being a member of VCDL? You used to be able to get discounts at restaurants and online things and everything like that. So we are going to bring that back. We're going to bring back a members discount page. So once you join VCDL, you generally don't even have to show a card. You just go to the person and says, I'm a VCDL member, and boom, you get 10% off here, or you get 5% off there. And those things add up. And it actually, if you use them, it pays for your membership to VCDL. And that will also grow the base, because there are people out there, $25 is a lot of money. And they're like, I just got my card and now I'm a member. Now what do I do? Besides stay engaged and follow the alerts and follow the action numbers. So I was talking to another EM, and she's kind of shy. And I was telling her, she's like, I could never do work a gun show because I'm kind of shy. And I said, go there and hand out Gun Save Live stickers. And when someone says, hey, what can you tell me about this one gun a month law? And you go, well, I'll tell you, hang on, Brendan. And then you take over, and she just smiles and nods and hands out stickers until she gets versed well enough to answer the questions herself.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, with my volunteers, if you want to come out and down in Hampton Roads, me, Brian Dunn, and the team down here, he runs Hampton, I run down here in Virginia Beach. And seriously, we're some of the most approachable people ever. Ed, I mean, you're not going to turn away for someone for not knowing. You're definitely going to engage with them and educate even a volunteer. Because I certainly don't know all the gun laws. I really don't. I sincerely don't, and I never will pretend to know everything about gun laws, gun rights, or et cetera. However, what I do is with my volunteers, I explain to them, look, I have zero expectation for you for the first show. If you're shy, I want you just to sit and watch. It's nothing more than if you want to sit and watch and experience what it's about. And if you come to your show and say, hey, you know what, I want to try and talk to someone, we're going to encourage you. It's about encouraging and in building people up. It's really not you have to get this amount of memberships or else I'm not going to have you as a volunteer. No, I tell people I'd rather have one amazing, engaging experience than 500 volunteers or 500 memberships. I'm serious about that. I'm serious as a heart attack. If you see me on Reddit, I always say, look, I'd rather have your time than your money, because engaging and having those one-on-one relationships are so much more monumental than a quick drive-by, sign up my money, get and leave. And Ed, you were probably approached slowly. People talk to you and explain to you about how you became a member and things like that, and how the VA alert, and that's kind of got to where you are, probably the same way I got to where I am. Just people taking their time and explaining to you, not, hey, give me money and leave.
Right. That's exactly right. And one thing that I found, if you're going to volunteer at a gun show, these are your family, these are your friends, these are the people that believe like you do. And it's a great place to start when you're trying to talk to people into signing up to be a VCDL member. I also try and do like our local festival that isn't gun owners, because then you're really getting like the people that are out there, that the voters, and they walk up and some are like, I hate guns. You're like, yeah, I hate some guns too. Which ones do you hate and why? And you start the dialogue and you find out that they were misinformed their whole life about something, and you can educate them, and they end up taking a card, and you can, sometimes instructors will be there at our table and invite people to go shooting, many times for free, just to educate people on what's going on.
Yeah, anyone out there that's listening, if you guys are in the Virginia Beach area and you're tuning in on this because maybe you saw them post on a wall and you're like, I don't know anything about guns. I mean this sincerely. If you reach out to me privately and say, hey, I want to learn about guns, I will literally stop what I'm doing, set up an event, and find a time to take you out shooting. That's the kind of people we are at VCDL. My whole team I have down here will probably drop what they're doing, be more than happy to go out and bring you shooting for the first time, because that's how important it is. Find that those one-on-one engagements at the range and in non-shooting areas. Now, when I bring someone out, I don't talk politics. I really don't. I want you to feel comfortable around firearms. And then if you ask me political questions, I'll probably answer here and there. But my focus during that time is to sit down and educate you about the mechanics thereof, because that is probably one of the scariest parts of firearms. There are guns that when I started getting into this, they bothered me. They're like, wow, I don't know how to. That's an HHE3. How do I? That's a big gun. That's a lot of recoil.
You don't want to take someone shooting with a 357 Magnum their first time.
Exactly. I have a stepped process. So if you are listening saying, you know what, I want to do this, but I'm worried that Brendan's going to hand me a 44 Magnum. Absolutely not. I start you out with a single shot 22 rifle. Then you graduate to something like a Browning Buck Mark or a Mark II for a Ruger. And then I have a step series where I'll use something like a 32 caliber pistol to get you into center fire. I'll get you into a solid size 9mm. And then beyond that, you can try an AR-15 or an AK-47. That is what I found works really well with new shooters, because it gets that fear out of them.
So Mark just posted, somebody asked about joining, and Mark Ashley, thank you, Mark, just posted, you can just go to vcdl.org and sign up. You don't have to do it at a gun show to sign up. You can sign up online. Another thing that somebody plugged is we have a lot of support from outside of Virginia to get people to join and to support us, like Palmetto State Armory. If you buy a Virginia 15 lower, they're sending $15 to VCDL to help us in our fight on gun rights, because we got a lot of legal battles and coming up. But the biggest thing we need is to grow the membership so that when Philip speaks for the membership, because he's the only one that speaks officially for VCDL, he'll come out and say, look, our members don't want this and we want you to do this. And now he's speaking for tens of thousands of people. So you can go to vcdl.org, join online, you can send in a check, you can add donations. A lot of people ask, is there a lifetime plan? There is not a lifetime plan. You can, however, join and pay for up to 5 years at once if you would like to. The board has looked at the lifetime plan. They constantly look at it, and they're looking at it for a number of reasons. I personally think that when it's time to renew and it's $25, many members go, oh, I'll send you $25, and here's an extra 10 for the fight, or here's an extra 10 for the VCDL pack. But if they're lifetime members, they don't get that annual renewal, and that extra 10 and $20 doesn't come.
Yeah, and that's I appreciate Mark Ashley. If you guys don't know Mark, he's one of my guys down here. He has been extremely helpful, part of my, what I call unofficially my core volunteers. I have probably about half dozen to a dozen people that I lean on, and Ed is really hitting the nail on the head. I don't like the idea of life membership as well. I really would rather have your engagement. Every time you get that, maybe you're someone who joined a lifetime membership of some other organization, and you get mailings once in a while, like, oh, I've already been a life member, I don't need to give anymore. I like it because it makes people engage. When they see that yellow envelope, like, oh yeah, I am part of that. And they have been early active. And wow, they really did save a lot of stuff this year from being exceptionally horrible instead of just horrible. So that kind of stuff is key. And hey, Mark, you're right. If you guys go online, vcdl.org, and just there's a join now area right up there. That is a great way to go sign up online, and we don't need to worry about your handwriting at that point.
The other thing at vcdl.org is if you go to the contact page, that's where you find the list of all the gun coordinators, the gun show coordinators, where in your area, whether you're at Chantilly or Hampton or Virginia Beach or wherever, you look at the closest guy to you, click, say, hey, I just saw the Facebook Live with Ed and Brendan, and I'm game. I'm ready to, when's the next gun show? And I'm ready to come do a couple hours. And you get in free. At most places, you get in free if you work the booth.
Hey, look, that free member or that free entry, I'm not responsible for the guns and ammo you buy from that. So, I mean, sometimes it's free, but sometimes you walk home, maybe like last show, like I did with a new Uzi. But hey, it's a really good time overall. And it's not just gun shows, Ed. Remember, we have other events like you talked about. I have a lot of cool events coming up down here. There's going to be a Wings and Things Second Amendment thing that we're coordinating with a local restaurant called Lendy's. They're going to be opening up their area. Get ready to type up the VA alert on there. I've kind of hinted at Reddit on Reddit. We have AR Builders class. I'm trying to coordinate some details for. We have other really cool events. We have barbecues. We have we have an annual barbecue coming up, right?
I think I'd have to check the events page because there's a lot of things that's on the vcdl.org calendar, and I don't want to throw out the date and be wrong and send people around there in error. But let me get to Nathaniel Hurt said, I mailed my foreman a check, and the check hasn't gotten cashed. How do I check to make sure that was received? Well, I would say the first step to do is to email treasurer@vcdl.org. Tell them about when you sent the check in, and they'll be able to look up and see if it's at least been received.
That's a great question.
Speaking of which, if any of you if you have any questions about working a gun show or membership or anything like that, go ahead and let me know, and we'll answer your question right now. I'm going to jump to my phone real quick, and I think I have a way to answer a much asked membership question. So give me 1 second, Brendan. If you talk for a minute, I'll figure out.
No worries. So while I was looking at that, guys, if you guys are tuning in and just kind of seeing this live, you're going to be really you're going to really get to see who VCDL really is. We are accepting of everybody. If you come as one of my volunteers, I tell people, I don't care what color, creed, background, who you call God, who you sleep with at night, what you believe in politically. Guns are apolitical to me, and they always have been. I have friends that lean left. I have friends that lean right. I have friends in the middle. I have friends on all sides. The great thing about VCDL is we accept everybody. And isn't that right, Ed? I mean, you've had people from all stripes come up to you and say, hey, can I join? Is this a right-wing organization I'm joining? And, I'm kind of, I lean left on certain things.
We are nonpartisan, and a lot of people don't know that. And that's partially a big thank you from Ed to the Democrats that called their legislators, because when the Democrats in office said, oh, we're going to ban all these Republicans from having guns, and they started producing these bills, then they heard from their own Democrat constituents that said, wait a minute, I don't believe in everything the president says, and I don't like his tweets, and I don't like this, but I'm a gun owner, and you guys are taking away my rights, and I help put you in the seat that you're in. So it's not a partisan issue. Going back to, if you go look in the public chat, I did post, people like, well, when do I join? When do I join? And how long, when does it expire? And all that. I put all that in the post because it's too much to read. But it talks about when you join and how long you get for the $25 and when you have to join again, etc., or renew. It explains all of that in writing.
Perfect. Yeah, that's always a key consideration. And even I, doing this for so long, I've been involved since, with VCDL since Sandy Hook happened, unfortunately. So since 2012. And even I have to go back and look and be like, hey, when exactly if I write up someone now for a membership, how long does it last? So I see, Edward, that's a great question. So gun show booths are fun. My pitch is based on what I have to defend. I'm a single dad to a daughter. SDG is nonpartisan also. Okay. That is something that's really key. The why. When you explain to someone and see the emotion. So Ed and I have different backgrounds. Ed and I have been from different places. We charter different ideas overall. So many of you guys might know, or maybe someone you don't. I come from I come from Seattle, Washington, outside of Seattle, Edmonds, Washington. If you're familiar with the area, 2009, I was actually, or 2008, I was actually involved in a mall shooting. There was a shooting at the mall where I was at, and that day changed me for the rest of my life. Probably about 200-300 yards away, a shooting. You can look it up. The South Center Mall shooting of 2008 is in November timeframe, or October, if I remember right. But that instilled in me from that day on that I'm always going to have a gun on me if I can legally carry one, and that just rang true till today. And so, I mean, Ed, you probably have a different background. What real quickly? Why do you do this? What is your pitch.
Started shooting at a young age. Started with BB guns, then a 22, then shot with friends over the years. As soon as I turned 18, I started open carrying because I knew I could. I went into the Marine Corps with a friend of mine because Reagan fired the air traffic controllers, and I've been into guns ever since. And then when I realized, these rights can change, I figured I found VCDL. I'm an NRA. I mean, I'm not just a VCDL member, and I'm a life member, NRA, and instructor. I'm Second Amendment Foundation. I'm Gun Owners of America. I know Larry and Eric Pratt very well. So I just, all of us, when you see people, you end up find out that we're a big circle of friends and family. But Chris has the question, which is a great question. If I was a volunteer, I'd like to have talking points prior to having time to review and memorize. Any member at the booth can give you talking points. I generally have had people say, just stand with me and listen to me talk for an hour, and you'll pick up the things that you want to talk about. Because as people are walking by in the gun show, you're like, hey, are you a VCDL member? Do you know what VCDL is? Or are you afraid of losing your gun rights? And I change it up. Well, it just depends. And a lot of times they walk by, I'm like, no thanks, I'm NRA. I was like, well, do you have your gun permit? I'm like, well, yeah, I got my gun permit. It's like, well, you have that because of VCDL. Because Virginia used to be a May issue state back in the Oliver North days when he was one of the first people to get a permit in Fairfax County. And you had to be a guy like Oliver North to get the permit. Well, VCDL changed Virginia from a May issue state to a shall issue state. People, I'm like, do you eat at restaurants that serve alcohol? You can carry inside a restaurant that serves alcohol concealed because of VCDL. So once you start telling them some of the accomplishments of VCDL in your 60-second elevator speech, if you even have that long, they'll at least stop to listen to you. You can give them a brochure if they don't want to talk at the gun show back and forth, and they can join later online.
So, and Chris brings up a good question, and that's some really good stuff that you're saying there. I didn't even know about the Oliver North thing. Honestly, that's a wild thing. That I remember I had a friend of mine who did have to go in front of a judge and explain why he needed a permit. And that's insane to think that you would have to go explain to a judge why you should have your constitutional right. But that's neither here nor there for this. But Chris, if you come out and the biggest thing I do is just take a look at some of the stuff on the handout. Ed, do you have a quad fold ready? Do you have one handy by any chance? I hate to put you on the spot, but hey, if you guys notice, if you ever go to a table of any of our tables, a lot of the gun stores, they'll have a VCDL quad fold. Just open that up and read the accomplishments. In there are your talking points, and it really isn't like we're trying to sell you a line of info that's not true. There's a lot of really good information that really puts you ahead of the game. Where even you might show me something to, hey, did you know in 2000 this that we passed this? I'll look at and be like, oh wow, I have actually forgotten about that. Good thing to do is pick up one of our I like to say criminalizing purchases or universal background checks. We have a flyer that's out there for that. Talks about talking points on that because a lot of gun owners are very misinformed, thinking these are okay. And they're really not, because it's all a backdoor registry. On the side of that, on the actual literal flip side of that page, is someone talking about red flag laws. Read up on all that, and I tell you what, you'll probably be an expert by the end of the show.
I saw somebody ask about the PAC. For those that don't know what the PAC is, when you sign up and join, there is a PAC, a Political Action Committee, and that's the area of VCDL. It's not really, it's its own organization, it's its own entity, the VCDL Political Action Committee. They accept money and donations, and they're the ones that look at the surveys and say, oh, there's a guy running for Virginia Senate or House of Delegates. We endorse this guy because of his answers to the survey, and we're going to throw him a couple bucks to help him in his campaign. That's what the PAC does. The VCDL does not endorse. So people go, oh, I got endorsed by the VCDL. If they did get an endorsement, it would have come from the PAC, not the VCDL organization. If you guys, we're going to probably wrap up in about 10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we'll see if Brendan and I can answer them. And if we can't, we'll jot them down and get you your answer later.
Hey, I just want to shout, I see someone in there. Rob Allen says, we do make a human connection at the gun shows, and that is something that's so important, guys. if it's your first show or if it's your 30th show, please do not lose sight of that human connection. It is so important to engage with someone. Now, it's really not about the talking points. You're going to hear stories of people that are going to come up, and I've had people that are victims of horrific crimes. I've had people that are coming from different countries. Those are always my favorite, and I'm going to tell you why. I met today actually a gentleman at the gun shop I was grabbing a pistol from. He's from China, and he actually understood. He's like, "Oh, VCDL? Oh, I've heard of you guys. You guys are defending our rights. We don't have those rights in China. I escaped China, communist China, to come here, and I'm all in." And it only took him like 5 minutes. I explained to him calmly what VCDL was about, gave him my card, and he emailed me saying, "Hey, I just joined VCDL tonight. Thank you." And I then, like I always would, said, "Hey, my normal shoot day is on Thursday. Why don't you come out to the local shooting range and come out shooting with me? I will bring out whatever you want." And so maybe he'll have a reply in my email. I'll check after this, but very excited. That's the kind of stuff that makes my heart warm. It really does. And I'm sure it does the same thing for you, Ed.
It does. So we have about 100 people watching us live, and I would like to see you 100 people pledge in the chat that you will go to the Gun Show Coordinators page at vcdl.org, click contacts. I want your commitment in chat with a I'll go or I'm in or whatever that tells me you're going to go work a gun show. Let's see them.
That'd be fantastic. And not just a gun show. If you hit the one for mine, I'm gonna have you come. There's a lot of fun events we're gonna be doing here in the Hampton Roads area. I said I have barbecues planned. I want to do a paintball tournament. Vincent. You know what? Vincent Smith throws out a really good point, and that's exactly it. Like I kind of alluded to, Democrats are on our side. Now some people are like, what are you talking about? They're trying to take our guns. No, no, no. What I mean is human beings that associate themselves with the Democrat Party that are of a voting bloc. And they understand they might have environmental issues they take sides on. They might have pro-life, pro-choice issues they take sides on, but they also own guns. And it's okay. You are allowed to be a Democrat, be in VCDL. There is never going to be anything. Sorry. I see some of my core volunteers reaching out saying I'm not doing anything. So I mean, I kind of laugh.
You know what? If Neil doesn't do anything at a gun show anymore, stop paying him.
I know. I'm gonna have to stop. Hey, Neil, your paychecks are being cut off, man. I'm sorry.
You're going from 0 to 00, Neil.
00. And yeah, exactly. So what kind of questions? I mean, I see a lot of people pledge. You're a member. I see definitely in. Mark Ashley saying that, hey, trash pickup is a philanthropy. We've had a lot of trash events that, people are like, what's VCDL doing with trash events? Well, it turns out that after day, the only people we may have upset were the city workers expecting to have to clean up a bunch of trash in Richmond. We apparently left that place so clean. You could see the line of demarcation of where we started cleaning and where we stopped cleaning. And the city workers were very happy. They were very
excited. It saves taxpayers money.
We did. I would say we probably saved quite a few dollars, knowing that we probably picked up 10 square city blocks or so. I'm guessing it's probably a fair amount of trash we picked up.
We had an adopt a highway, and our sheriff would even come out and pick up trash with us.
Oh, our team is actually looking into that, and it's so cool to see that. We had one of the other groups had a Portsmouth one, and they picked up like 3,000 pounds of trash, and they found a firearm, which they promptly then turned into the police, and it is now being investigated for possible crime gun, which is great. That is the kind of stuff that we want to see. If you go out into this event, you're going to see a lot of things like that where we're picking up a community. If any of my, what does it say? If any of my friends are interested,
Stan, I'll answer that, because if you take 100 people in a room, they are never going to agree on everything. So all social issues, whether it's abortion or equal rights or this, that, whatever, VCDL is very narrow focus, gun rights only. We don't care who you marry, what you do, what color you are, anything else. We fight for your rights. It's in our mantra, is defending your right to defend yourself. So many people own guns that are Democrats, that are moderates, that are Republicans, that are libertarians. They realize that the guy that comes in to stab you in the middle of the night doesn't ask you what your political affiliation is. And the way you stop him is with force on force.
Exactly right, Ed. And that's such a key point. And you know how many times I get that question, and it's the VCDL is probably one of the most middle of the road organizations you're ever going to find. I hate that guns have become a political issue, but I have friends that have sat in this gun room here and have talked about things that I disagree with. And I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine. And
I disagree with you all the time.
dude, it happens, man. It happens. And that's the great beauty of it. We can agree to disagree, but we're focused.
I would agree with you more if you weren't wrong so much.
Oh, get out, and these things happen. We have these guys and they come in thinking they know everything, and but no, and that's the cool thing is we laugh and we joke and we play around with it, and we don't take it too seriously, because at the end of the game, my only goal in life is to help promote the Second Amendment in all ways, shape, and form. Now, what are some other questions I see coming in? Anything else? Let's see. The clean.
When Brendan and I wrap up, this video will be on the VCDL YouTube channel. So if you're interested in working a gun show, or you want to work a gun show with a friend, you can share this video with them so they can kind of pick up the tips and fast forward through some of our back and forth chatter, but pick up the tips about what to do at gun shows, and get involved in the organization that you've joined. And this will be a great little training video for them for half an hour that they don't have to see our faces. They can just listen to it to and from on the way to work and just listen to the audio.
Exactly. One last thing. I saw Brian Dunn, one of our executive members, posted up, and this is another common question we get. It is about, hey, I see this at Virginia Beach and Hampton gun shows a lot. You may not see that up where you are, Ed. I'm from North Carolina. I'm up here because this is a local gun show to me. Can I join VCDL, or I don't need to join VCDL. I'm a North Carolina resident, and I get that all the time. Realize that, yes, you can join VCDL. We do need the help. If you're up here on business or if you're up here for pleasure, you still have rights that you want to, keep up here as well. Concealed carry rights, being able to purchase lawn guns, other things along those lines. But what I encourage those people is get involved in your own state's organization. That's so key. There are a lot of organizations out there, and I believe we used to have a list of them. If we don't, look type in, for example, Arizona, VCDL. You'd wonder where they got that from. Things like that. I know that there's one in North Carolina. There's Maryland. Was it Maryland shall issue? Maryland can carry or something like that. There's Maryland has one, right?
Maryland shall issue is the name of the work.
Yeah. So that's just the last thing I wanted to throw out there. And unless Ed, do you have anything else, or?
Don't have anything else. One of the guys just asked who heads up, I guess, Shenandoah County, and Shenandoah Gun Shows is a guy named Seth Hauer, which is gunshows.shenandoah@vcdl.org. Like I say, you can jump to the vcdl.org webpage and take a look at that. Let me see if I can.
Go ahead and pull it up. And I know that some people are probably curious. I mean, you see some interesting stuff behind me. I want to touch on that because this is also part of my passion for why I care about gun rights. So behind me is kind of a funny flag. It's not a U.S. flag. It's actually a Viet Cong flag. My father was a Vietnam veteran. He passed away about a year and a half ago, and he brought forth with me the point that all rights are civil rights. He really, really, really fought for our rights as an Army soldier. M16, similar to what he would have carried. So if you guys ever are in here and you ever want to look at it, it's up on the wall. It's not functioning, so don't, it's just a mock-up, but just something that, just a little point of who I am. We all come from different backgrounds, and Ed, it's that's the greatness of our group. We all have different things and different backgrounds and stuff. So
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us. I certainly want to thank Brendan for agreeing to come on here with me and do this first time chat with us to just kind of educate people on how the gun show portion of it works. We'll try and keep this type of social media thing going. Don't forget to tune in next week where Philip, our president, will have another Facebook Live and he will go over what laws are going to be signed and his analysis of what the laws mean and how they got to where they're at. And stay tuned and follow us on the VA Alert. If you sign up for the email list, VA Alert, and follow us on our Facebook and our Twitter and our YouTube and everywhere else.
don't forget Reddit. So guys, I run the Reddit account. So please come on out to Reddit.
Right. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.